Off the Hook, airing on offthehooksports.com. Your home for real news, real opinions, and what really matters about Tennessee athletics. The Off the Hook podcast at offthehooksports.com or Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or wherever you go for your favorite podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, iHeart. Like, share, follow, subscribe. Off the Hook with Dave Hooker starts now.
All righty, we're going to get to the season opener, looking back on Tennessee, even though it was a Thursday night game, the grades for the Vols, and it's all brought to you by the Mattress Place. No gimmicks, 30 to 70% off each and every day, and the Mattress Place is your home for great selection, but also integrity. That's why the reviews on the Better Business Bureau and Google are just so darn good. So click subscribe and like, and we can be a part of your day. So, Chris Landry, let's go ahead and break down the Ball State game, because obviously Tennessee was playing an outmanned opponent. I get all of that, but there's a lot to be learned from a guy like you, frankly, that can break down the tape. So, even though this was an outmanned opponent as a whole, how did you grade Tennessee football team? Then we'll kind of snip it down.
Yeah, Dave, I think it's maybe a good thing to kind of mention to the listeners that as a coach, when you grade every play, you're looking at assignment, effort, technique, and execution, and then result. So when you are in games like this, the first four: assignment, effort, execution, are really the important thing. The result is going to oftentimes be camouflaged by, in other words, you can really look good on a play. Boy, they really blocked it well. No, they didn't. They really took the wrong angle, and he blocked it with the wrong hand, but they still had success. Well, it's still good. No, it's not. The coaching point is you got to get it corrected, because that doesn't work maybe in the next game against your next opponent, so on and so forth. So I think you need to look at that. So everyone focuses, Dave, on the result. Well, they won by a bunch of points. They did this. They got this yards. It's fine. And it's understandable. It's how most people can equate as much as they know about what happened in the game. In this game, I thought that the assignment, the effort was good. I think the execution was pretty good. I think the result is really good, but I kind of focus on what was good, what was bad. I thought the quarterback play was good. Missed some overthrows. Did Hooker played a lot of guys. Thought the running game showed some promise. I think the receivers did a really good job. I think they worked the middle of the field very well. I think that is a real key going forward, to being able to work the middle of the field. I think sometimes they go a little too much with their wide splits with their receivers. They go too much with the fade route, which is a much more difficult throw. It's basically, to use an analogy, it's like swinging at a bad pitch in baseball, or, I'm going to take a contested 3-point shot when I got an easy pass for an easier play. I think there's some easier routes there. I think some of that was displayed for a purpose against Ball State. I think they're going to work the skinny post, the crossers a little bit more against certain opponents, depending on how they play it. So I think there's some things to work on and improve. I thought the offensive line play was pretty good. I think the right tackle position they're still feeling out. Thought the tight end play, I think there's some potential there. I thought defensively, they did a little bit better job than the stats would indicate. They got a lot of pressure. They got their hands in the throwing lanes. They tipped some balls. They got a couple of picks that were pressure induced. So I thought it was pretty good. I think getting home and finishing against an outmanned offensive line, albeit an experienced offensive line for Ball State, is something that you can work to improve upon. I thought the linebacker play was okay. I thought the secondary play, as I thought it would be, a work in progress. I think they let some free runners go a few times that Ball State couldn't capitalize on, that may be problems down the road. So I think they did some good things. I thought, look, they were solid in the kicking game. I thought the punting game was pretty good in the two punts. They didn't get either one of those returned, and they're probably not returned against anybody the way they punted. Really good. They did allow a couple of returns come deep. That's when the kickoff was backed up due to a penalty. I mean, those things need to be cleaned up. The kick return unit needs some work. You need to, I think, start off a little. So those are some things that overall it was a really, solid job. They did what they needed to do. They outmanned their opponent, and I thought they took care of business. And you go back to the film, and I also want to say this because you get this a lot of time, that when you're kind of asked to do stuff like this, you're not picking at to be rude. It is to when I do consulting work, whatever, nobody, as a coach, you don't go in and say, great. You say, great job, good effort, and all that. But then you get right into how you get better. It's like anything else. It's great, Dave. You made an A on your test, and now you just want to make sure that you continue to get better and do things for the next test so you make an A the next time. So I think that's important to understand, that a lot of good, a lot of things that you need to clean up. And I'm excited to see where they take it from this game to next game against Pitt.
You mentioned the linebackers. I want everybody to hit that subscribe and like button so we can be a part of your sports coverage, especially when it comes to Tennessee and the SEC. Jeremy Banks, somebody asked me over the weekend, why didn't he have more of an impact? How did he grade out?
He did okay. I'm trying to look at the overall grade. It wasn't outstanding. It certainly wasn't the strength. I'm trying to think where I grade him. I grade in, I hate to, the way we grade is in colors, the blues, reds, purples. And so he kind of graded out in the purple area, which there's some areas that I think he can improve upon. It's part of what I was referring to. Now they were without Juwan Mitchell. So, Banks and Beasley and Page and Garland, I thought they were okay. But I certainly think there's some room for improvement there.
And then on the offensive side, I don't know if they forced it to Brew McCoy, but nevertheless, he certainly looked the part. How did he grade?
No, he did. Look, he did fine. I mean, he had 27 yards after the catch, which again is a byproduct somewhat of how they space guys open. But that shows the ability to make plays. And I think that getting the ball in his hands and certainly the problems that he can create in coverage for opponents is going to be a positive one that Tennessee can exploit. So I think it really is going to depend upon Hooker getting the ball out on time, getting it to the right guy at the right time. I think Brew McCoy has loads of potential, and I thought he did a nice job there. Look, I thought Hyde did some good things. I thought Keaton did some good things. I thought Merrill did some good things. I thought Squirrel White had a couple of plays. I thought Jimmy Holiday did some good things. You had a drop by Fant, which, you don't want to have. I thought Tillman obviously was outstanding. So I think they're fine there. I think they'll be really good to outstanding most of the year. The production is going to be really tied to obviously who they play and how they're able to exploit certain coverages. And obviously quarterback play, getting the ball out on time accurately. As I mentioned, I thought there were some other plays they left on the field with some throws that were a little bit off.
We talked a lot in the offseason about Justin Williams-Thomas, who is going to step in and be the next Jamal Lewis and take over as a freshman. That happens sometimes, but apparently that's not the case. I'm told ball security could be a little bit of an issue, but I'd say pass protection is probably an issue because he's new. And, hey, they've got a guy that's pretty good that's throwing the football around. So I go back to what we should have been talking about all along was Jabari Small. And we did so in the last half of camp. And the guy's put on 15 pounds of muscle, and I thought looked like a good back last year. I thought he looked like a very good back. on Thursday. I know it's early, but where would you kind of place him among the best running backs in the SEC?
Well, I think time will tell on that. I think he's got talent. I think he's a starting caliber running back. He'd be kind of in that, red grade, quality starters, for a high level SEC team. So I think he's really good. We talked about him a good bit because I really like in the progress of where he was working and getting in the type of shape. And look, you're going to be able to run the football in this offense because you're going to get some, so many light boxes to run against as people are out defending the pass. So a lot of drop eights that they're going to see and they saw. So I think Small's going to be outstanding. I thought he showed good vision. I thought, he's got good instincts. I think he's going to have a really good year. I thought Jalen Wright did some good things. I thought Dylan Sampson did some good things. Now, the whole, Justin Williams-Thomas and the Tavion Jackson, that was a mesh point issue. I mean, it's a problem in both cases. A lot of that is timing and rhythm. And, you're talking about guys that didn't get a whole lot of reps relatively in practice to the starters. So I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not saying it's expected, but it's somewhat understandable when you look at the bigger context. I think that they are going to be pretty solid at running back. And I think the running game has a chance to be pretty good. It needs to be if they're going to be a really good team. I think one of the things that we've talked about is the importance of being able to run it. Tennessee may not be the physical tough team. They're a spread out type team, but the backs have to run hard. They're going to have openings. They're going to build up steam. You're going to have to run with good body lean, and you're going to have to be able to get good after contact yardage. And I think they can do all those things and be really effective if you're going to take this offense to the next level and really help your defense out.
The Mattress Place, 22 years on Chapman Highway, Marine Corps veteran, owned, A-plus accredited, member of the Better Business Bureau. Steve is just simply awesome, and he's going to take care of you. Over 225 five-star reviews on Google, and no gimmicks, just 30 to 70% off each and every day. Go to the Mattress Place. It's right there on Chapman Highway. It's very easy to find. I think some people think that's far from Knoxville. It's like 2 miles from Henley Street Bridge. So the Mattress Place brings you Chalk Talk with Chris Landry. I'm Dave Hooker. This is a production of Off the Hook Sports.